Off.
Chidanandji said you can unmute and start.
All right. Yeah. Namaskar. Good evening. Decoding discipline. Some of you may have wondered why we have called it decoding. Is there some code which has to be figured out? Is there some mystery? Is there some puzzle? For we use the word decoding when some information is coded and most people cannot figure out what it is. A coded language, a coded communication means most people cannot guess what it is all about. Then somebody comes along and decodes the communication, the message, the information. So is there some decoding required with regard to discipline? Some of us surely wonder. For one of the errors that happen in our life is we think we know something while actually we do not know. Discipline is like that. Everybody thinks they know what is discipline. But discipline is one more concept which is widely misunderstood, and the price humanity pays for misunderstanding discipline is very heavy. We shall elaborate on that. Discipline is much praised without understanding what true discipline is. In schools and colleges, the teachers would say, this girl is highly disciplined, that boy is so disciplined. They tell the other girls and boys, why don't you learn from her? Why don't you be like her? And so on. Please see, with their ideas of discipline, they become very judgmental. They compare one student with another. They lament upon their own son or daughter not being disciplined, quote and unquote, whatever that word disciplined may mean to them. They envy another girl or boy, maybe son or daughter of another professor, another teacher, who in their eyes is so disciplined. Oh, I wish my son was as disciplined as that teacher's son. All this. And we have discussed the evil of comparison. When the human mind goes into comparing and thereby becoming judgmental, the human mind invites unnecessary sorrow to itself. Come back to discipline. Normally, everybody thinks discipline is a matter of going by rules, going by do's and don'ts, going by some norms that the society would have set. In liberal societies, it is believed there are hardly any rules. And then there are very orthodox or there are conventional societies. There are very old style societies There are sometimes some rules and norms and behavioral patterns imposed upon all the citizens about their dress, how they should conduct themselves, rules for women separately, rules for men separately, rules for children, rules even for kings and queens, rules for norms for princes and princesses. Many of you would have seen the old movie, I guess Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. I have not seen many English movies. I have seen movies that can be counted in fingers. But yes, Roman Holiday I had seen. A princess is fed up of expectations from her own staff, her own citizens. And when she goes to Rome, which is another country, over there also she is already nervous. Oh my God, I wish I was a simple woman. I wish I could go about the roads of Rome, the bazaars of Rome, the restaurants and the lakeside and the whatever riverside. I could just go around the town unhindered, she thinks. But that's not her good fortune. That was not to be as per rules, though in the very humorous movie Roman Holiday, you find the princess of another country lands in Rome and somehow escapes from a palace where she was put. She was accommodated. Next day, she was to meet journalists and all the elite of the town. But she escapes, and somehow, with the hero played out by Gregory Peck and another guy, she has a free time in Rome, unrecognized by people that she is a visiting princess. A very humorous movie. Some of you may not have seen. Go to YouTube and watch it. You will laugh and laugh. But coming back to the topic of discipline, even for that princess of another country who comes for some official business to Rome, but then makes it a Roman holiday and enjoys the day with two men who are very courteous, very helpful to her to show places. That princess suffers from what is expected of her, the norms that the society had laid down for her. So, what is discipline? Every family, conditioned and influenced by their own background, cultural background, religious background, professional background. This topic keeps coming again and again. A whole lot of novels, whole lot of literature revolves around some misconceived idea of discipline. In Krishnaji's teachings, there are some harsh statements which made him unwelcome in many ashrams because he said ashrams are concentration camps. You know, which ashram would welcome such a statement? He said in a certain context, in some talk by him, ashrams, convents, seminaries, spiritual training centers around the world are concentration camps. That was so harsh, but there is a grain of truth, if not more, in what he said. Ashrams are many times a reflection of the mad society outside, let me say. The society has ideas of good and bad. The society has notions about what is virtuous and what is sinful. And the ashrams, to some extent, borrow from the society. The ashrams then package everything in another form and sell it back to the society. Sometimes you and I wonder, do societies shape the ashrams or the ashrams shape the society? The truth seems to be both ways. You see, every ashram, let me also be a little candid. Every ashram needs funds, it needs patronage from the society. So, to a lesser or greater extent, alas, ashrams also dance to the tunes of the society. All right, coming back, you don't want to go on with how discipline is misunderstood. We want to understand discipline. We want to decode discipline. We want to demystify discipline. Krishnaji, who used to refer to dictionaries to understand clearly the meanings of words, had found out that the word disciple has the meaning someone who is ready to learn. It's a great distortion of truth if anybody imagines a good disciple is somebody who memorizes a lot of mantras and tantras and rituals and so on. It's not about memorizing. It's not about storing a whole lot of knowledge in one's head. When you decode discipline, and a disciple who has that kind of true discipline becomes somebody who is observant, who is ever ready to learn, who is not bound by bias, bound by prejudice. Therefore, an open mind, which is not at all an irresponsible mind, please mind, an irresponsible mind also says yes to everything. Somebody who is irresponsible, leave alone about others, irresponsible about his own health, comes to you and you say, would you mind some coffee? He says, oh, welcome, I love coffee. After 10 minutes, after he finished one big cup of coffee, you say, how about some good tea, Assam tea? Oh, I love tea, he says, and takes that also. So can you say that what an open-minded person he is? Seems to be a liberated person. He is ready for everything. That way, if somebody is with coffee or tea, with getting up in the morning or going to bed in the night, with brushing the teeth in the morning or evening, with numerous aspects and dimensions of day-to-day behavior, if somebody is open, loose, ready for anything, that is no discipline. That is another travesty of truth. Now, what is learning? What is being open? Being open, being ready to learn, obviously, is not some kind of thoughtless compromise everywhere, but it is certain alertness, certain gentle ability to see anything in its true form. Is this true? Is this false? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this worthwhile? Or is this a waste of time? So one questions, not according to some set norms. One may be aware of certain set norms, but not being bound by them. Let us say, you and I, again and again tapping into our own intelligence. I should add, we do give certain attention to some rules made. We try to understand, why is this rule made here? Why have they written don't do this and don't do that? You pay attention, you think about it. So when we say not bound by some norm or rule, we don't mean somebody being utterly reckless. Rather, we mean we are not mechanically driven by what is put on a board, what is said by some elderly person, and so on. A truly disciplined person has a great amount of freedom in his thinking, but he does not misuse his freedom. When, in the name of discipline, we conform, 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 we conform to many norms, ideas, certain patterns that are set by a community or by some authority. In that conforming, we become mechanical, and the evil does not stop there. When we conform, and then our mind says, I have been following all the rules, and these guys are not following. I am a virtuous person here in this part of the country. And these guys who are not following the norms are sinners. They are unworthy. So a whole lot of judgmentalism begins. Leave others. With regard to oneself, when one has somehow read something and accepted some norms, and then says to oneself, oh, I must get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow onwards. If I don't get up at 4 a.m., I don't think I deserve to live anymore. All such bombastic statements young people write. They accept or they welcome some ideals. They read some book, and where it is said some yogi got up every morning at 4 a.m. In fact, there was another page where it was said at 5 a.m. he went back to rest, but they tore off that page. The book he got was sometimes the books from various ashrams, let me warn you, are edited versions. In the first publication, first edition of the same book, there would be a little bit of some so-called unpleasant stuff also about the ashram's history. Then some editorial committee sits after 3 years, 5 years, and thoroughly edit those books. And the edited version will give such a picture of the saint or guru or the ashram or the leader or the founder of that organization as though everything was so good about that lady or man. And that is when some youngster reads such a book. Oh, really? She was like that? He was like that? How disciplined and how undisciplined I am. And that is where I come to my next point. It is distorted, shallow, immature norms or immature understanding of discipline that makes a large number of people on this earth live in guilt, in shame, in self-rejection. Some 25 years ago or more than that, I read a book which was very popular those days. A book of popular psychology by a psychologist who was, I guess, a professor in some university in Chicago or somewhere. A famous book, I guess, even today. The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck. The author perhaps is dead and gone. Sometimes I'm so old, outdated in my examples. I remember nowadays we have to be very careful. Even today I had to write to somebody about some book and said the author is professor in Stanford University. Then part of my mind said, who told you? I said, I have that book by her. It's written professor at Stanford University. Then another part of my mind said, yeah, you have her book and it's written. But when was that book published? Oh, 2014. Now, 9 years have passed. In America, especially, these people, corporate world or academic world, very few people stay long at any place. 2014, this lady, Carol Dweck, was a professor in Stanford. By 2023, she might have moved to Oxford or she might have died also, God. So I said, I better verify. Anyway, I was saying, we read, we get influenced. We think about somebody. I was talking of Scott Peck. Scott Peck writes in his wonderful book with a lot of nice insights into human psychology. And the humorous part is, at a certain place, he says, I am very grateful to the Catholic Church because they have created a whole lot of psychological patients. And that is how people like me have our business going. Psychiatrists will be out of job if the human society returns to sanity. Because the human society is pretty insane. Psychiatrists, psychologists, psychological counselors, all of them have, and a whole lot of gurus also have good business. Otherwise, they will be out of business. So, I hope you understood why, in a humorous way, Scott Peck thanked the Catholic religion because the Catholic religion, among even various denominations of Christianity, is known for a bit more of strictness about how somebody should be, how a Christian should be. So, a lot of rules, a lot of pressure, right? And where there is pressure, where there is something imposed upon us by others or imposed upon us by ourselves, our psyche gets distorted. So, what is true discipline? Let me say a few words about what is true discipline, though I did say a little bit before. True discipline is learning about life, learning about the self, learning honestly, frankly, learning with a truly open mind where I have my strengths and where I have my shortcomings. True discipline is to accept myself as I am and stop pretending to be somebody who I am not. Stop covering up, stop patching up, stop some drama that we generally do. Stop playing the games that we generally play. So true discipline is a certain return to simplicity. True discipline thus involves not so much of memorizing long lists of how we should be and how we should not. It is more of developing a sensitivity. They should and should not generate their own tyranny upon us. When we are truly disciplined, we neither tyrannize ourselves nor tyrannize others. In true discipline, we are not perfect. We have errors, we have shortcomings, we have faults. But in true discipline, there is the healthiest way of recognizing or identifying our shortcomings. We neither let our own mind whip us and make us miserable, nor we let others whip us up. Let 10 people say some negative things about us. If we are truly disciplined, all that they say does hurt us a little bit, but we bear with that. And we get busy with examining to what extent is what they say true, to what extent what they say is false. Where they are true, let me change. Where they are false, let me ignore without developing some hatred towards them, etc. Simple common sense. To keep our head above our shoulders, to remain balanced. But once more, we are not declaring ourselves to be perfect. I'm not going to be disturbed by anybody. I am okay. We don't say, I may not be okay. There are areas where I need to change myself, but I'm not going to change myself with guilt or shame or whipping myself or caning myself with negative emotions about myself. Once those come in, there cannot be learning. In order to learn in the midst of imperfections, we need to have that mind which on its part does not add to the chaos. There is chaos in our life. There is imbalance in our life. Let us face it. But as we try to understand the disorder in our life, can we go about it without being conditioned by what some books say or what some other system says? Can we go about a certain inner change with some gentleness? Gentle operation of intelligence is true discipline. Let me pause here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for interesting lecture. May I request Harshad Parekh, sir? Harshad Parekh, sir, please unmute and.
Yes, are you able to hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Chidanandji. The way I see discipline, there are two kinds of discipline. One is the discipline which is imposed, like as in an ashram you said, or in a school where I am right now, Rishi Valley School, there are certain discipline is imposed on students, teachers, everybody. So we don't have the freedom to do whatever we like everybody, like students and teachers who are teaching, they have to get up early in the morning, even if they are tired or if they did not get sleep, because students have to go for morning exercise, PT time, physical training. And then they have to go to the assembly where everybody comes together. Then they have go to the classroom and then have to go for lunch in time. So everything is planned. The whole timetable for the day is planned, and there is not much freedom. And everybody has to follow this discipline because we are together. But if we are living not in a school, but in our own house, in the holidays, maybe we can do whatever we like to do. We can get up late if we are tired and so on. So this kind of discipline is imposed in a school or ashram, because if it is not imposed and people do whatever they like to do, then there could be disorder. So for the purpose of order, when people are living together, some kind of rules or discipline is imposed. And human beings, there is a lot of disorder in our mind because we are not very clear. And so when the mind is in disorder, then naturally there will be disorder in our behavior. In the universe, there is an order. All the planets and birds and animals, they don't have many problems due to thinking, but human beings, we are not very clear. And so there is a lot of disorder, and it expresses in our behavior. And so a discipline is imposed, especially when there are many people are living together. Even maybe in the family, there is some kind of discipline. But what Krishnaji is saying about this discipline is in a different sense, a discipline which comes from inner order. So when there is an order, when there is a clarity, then we do the right thing and we don't resent it. And everything goes very beautifully. Just like I would say, when I was a teacher a long time ago in Rishi Valley, I was a very mild teacher. And I was interested in teaching the subject. But students, 8th standard students, there was a lot of disorder in students. And I had a very difficult time because I cannot get angry, I cannot impose, I cannot shout at them. And so this went on for some time. And I used to tell the student that it is my responsibility to teach. And it is your responsibility to learn. And if you are not interested in learning, then you will be the loser. But the students were still quite immature and they were not listening. Then after some days, some student came to me and said, "Sir, you will have to be very strict. Otherwise, we will not listen." So what it meant is that students were not mature enough to take their own responsibility on their own shoulder. And they wanted the teacher to take the responsibility for their order in the classroom. But then it becomes difficult. So I would say that if a teacher is mild and cannot shout, then maybe there is a different way, is to develop a good relationship with students, talk with them outside the class, see their difficulties, why they are getting restless, disorder, are they getting enough sleep at night, or are they not eating properly, or there is some problem in the family which is disturbing them. So there could be many reasons for the disorder in the mind of student or any human being. So only when we begin to understand ourselves and we have the right way of living, then discipline comes from that intelligence and order. And without that, there will be a lot of disorder. And in the world right now, we can see that there is a lot of disorder everywhere. People are fighting in the name of religion or nationality, and the caste and all that is going on because there is not a true learning, a true discipline. And so even the government has to impose discipline by calling the army and so on. So an intelligent way of living is to understand our own mind, and then we can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning without imposing discipline on ourselves, and we look forward to go out, look at the nature, listen to the birds, or to meditate or listen to good music. So it is up to us whether we want to really learn and be a real student, because only a person who is learning, who is a student, only those will learn about the discipline which comes from within. Otherwise, police and lawyer and all that will remain, and in the society, there is a lot of disorder, dishonesty. So police, government, lawyer, court, and all that exists in our society. Okay, so I have said enough right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshad sir. Anybody whomsoever wanted to comment or something may raise hand and we will unmute him. Modak has written something on this chat box. Chidanandji, would you please like to comment on that? And then Pradeep.
I would only say that Harshadji rightly added some dimensions to this topic of discipline. He, towards the end, even mentioned what government, police, and other institutions also do. And therefore, the whole matter becomes quite complex. So, no wonder it is said in the awakening of the individual, there is hope for the society too. Everyone has to look within rather than find fault with people around. Being aware of the imperfections in systems, we must, however, take some responsibility for how we live day after day, noticed or unnoticed by people. Sometimes we are extra careful about how people see us. So in front of people, we behave in a very careful manner. But we may not be so careful when we are by ourselves or we think nobody is watching. That would not serve us well. Eventually, the long hand of law, if not man-made law, the long hand of nature's law will catch us. Therefore, any of us are truly interested in becoming free from all conflicts. We must not make a division between private life and public life at all. Private or public life, we better be watchful and avoid compromises with our own inner voice. That's what I may submit. I think Pradeep ji wants to say something.
Uh, am I audible, sir?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, okay. After reading and listening to Krishnamurti for a pretty long time, one thing I have seen that whatever topic he chooses, whatever, it's something like he had such a holistic vision that whatever, it is something like a hologram. Whenever he is using certain words, if you go deep down into it, you will see all the words, all the sentences he has ever spoken in that. Each speech, when he speaks, but the whole, it reflects the whole every time. So discipline also, if you go deep down in it, he talks about non-conformism. He talks about freedom. He talks about freedom from the past. He talks about the self which creates problems. And he talks about attention. So while he's dealing just one discipline, but all these things automatically, as if the rivers come and meet the ocean. So that holistic vision he had, whenever you find any one of his speeches or excerpts anywhere, it is complete in itself. And it reflects life abundantly. So discipline, of course, he's talking very differently. Free openness, he's talking about openness, how to be open, attention. All these things come in that this thing. Religious person. You can see all his words coming with this word. So that freedom, openness, and everything. So this is all why I wanted to say that such a vision he had, and one can develop this type of vision, listening to him and being with it, the being, communing with the being which is there in all of us, communing with that which is life in a way. I may be telling something which cannot be put in words, but this is what happens. So he never left anything, although his philosophy of denial, that denying is the best thing, or negation is the best thing to get it, negation of. So ultimately, it is living in the right present moment to moment, what Harshad ji has been explaining all the time. Choiceless awareness, all these words simultaneously, when you start describing what this topic is, everything comes, everything. So this is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Any comment from Chidanandji?
Not really.
Harshad sir, you wanted to make some comment on it? Wanted to say something?
A little bit, maybe, like Krishna ji used to say, the world is burning with disorder, with violence, with corruption. So, and he used to ask, what will you do in living in such a world which is very disorderly? Can a human being live with order in a disorderly world? So when he asked such a question to, say, UG Krishnamurti, and UG Krishnamurti said, I will let the world burn completely, then something new will come out from it. So his answer was something very strange. But I would answer if Krishnaji asked me, if the world is burning, what will you do? So I would say I will cool myself Because if I am also burning and the world is burning, I can't do anything. But if I can really have some understanding, some order, goodness, love, maybe I can do little bit. The world is too much. We cannot do anything for the whole world, but we can change a bit ourselves. And that will be our contribution to the world. Because the world is the way it is going, even after 40 years of Krishnamurti passing away, the world is burning and there are wars and disorder in every country in Europe or America or everywhere. There is a lot of violence and corruption going on. So all we can do is to maybe cool ourselves and make our life as far as possible very happy, healthy by learning about our inner world and live with a kind of discipline which comes from understanding of the self. Okay, I have said it. Yeah.
Pradeep ji, please unmute and say.
Yes. I think it is open. It's open, audible, everything.
Yeah, it's audible.
So Harshad Bhai raised a beautiful, another very important point. When the world, a part of world is burning, I would see it this way, that what is my role? What is my role in this? What have I done? Am I also contributing to this great burning somewhere? Whether it may be very subtle in me, but in some way I'm contributing to that flame which is burning our resources and all that. Am I a party to all this? And you will find invariably, because when people used to ask Krishnamurti, how am I responsible when this is happening in this thing, even in close vicinity of that? He said, you are totally responsible for it. And it's a fact. What is my role? And whether within my jurisdiction, naturally, because you can't go beyond that, it's a question of energy and work. So whether I can do something to set this part of this part of life in me, around me, and likewise, if a number of people think about it this way, is their role in contributing to violence, mass violence and all that, I think things can be, and things are being improved. There is not only the one thing, because these fights and wars that are going is all very traditional wars, territorial wars, most of them very old type of wars. These are not, you see. So ultimately, he talked about creating a new mind, you see, a new consciousness, evolution of consciousness in a different way. So it is possible, definitely, and we can see that youngsters, young generation is attracted towards such things. You have seen it in yoga, you have seen it so many other sessions which people take around so-called spirituality. So things are being changed, but this type of old wars, old type of traditional wars, those who have enjoyed power in some way or the other, they ultimately become corrupt and they become violent corruption. Unfortunately, only corrupt people aspire for power most of the times, and they have a caucus. So this is a long chain, but what I see, that when house is burning, naturally the best attention you can have is when you see a spark. In my house, when I see a spark and suddenly two bulbs are out, then that type of attention, if it is there all the time in me, even when there is in my neighborhood, there is some sound cantankerous or something like that, then immediately you have to be attentive. Extra attention is required. This is what I feel. This is what I can do in my. We all can do rather. So this is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Any comment from Chidanandji? Or I
No.
should go for Arun?
Go for Arun.
Oh, thank you. Arun, please unmute and say.
Arun Partha, you can say something. Are you there? He is not able to speak. I think his mic is unmuted, but his voice is not coming. Arun, your voice is not coming, Arun.
He is speaking otherwise.
No. Rama Rao sir, you can.
Yes.
Say something.
Thank you for giving me chance to speak. And the point is that, you see, every human being have different type of potential, different type of inhibitants, because he loaded with a lot of different contents. Point one. Second point is that, you see, we have to live in the groups. We have to share our activities. We have to live in the groups. So the discipline, it means what I understood, means like not in philosophical manner or not in religious manner, just simply day-to-day live. We have to means somewhere something to make some adjustments, some conformity, some inclusions, some exclusions. This what I understood about this heading of the discipline. I request Mr. Harshad Parekh to speak on this.
Harshad sir, please.
No, I did not understand very. Is there any question or anything?
I do not have any specific question. I expressed what I see in my day-to-day life.
Right. Yes. Krishnaji is addressing to each human being, and is addressing to each human being whether we are aware of what is happening, if we are unhappy or if we have a conflict with somebody or within ourselves, whether we are aware of it and whether we can really see clearly everything and be free from that. So Krishnaji is always addressing each human being, and at one time he had said that this discipline is only for the lazy person. Means only a lazy person needs to be told what to do and what not to do. But an intelligent person is the discipline comes from within, and then we do the right thing. We don't create any problem for ourselves or for people around. So Krishnaji's teachings are about understanding of our own mind clearly, and then that brings a kind of a natural order in our daily activity. And we do even get up early or do something, we do it with real energy and enjoyment, even studying something, because I see that students are studying because it's not because they love to study, but they have to study. And so hour after hour, they have to learn many subjects and they don't like it. So they look forward to weekend entertainment or something like that. And so there is a conflict goes on. Maybe even teacher, they get tired and they don't enjoy, especially when students are not responding in the classroom. So there are lots of conflicts going on in all human beings. And Krishnaji's teachings are about seeing it clearly and to come to some a way of living in which we don't feel tired and bored with what we are doing and really enjoy. Even if we don't do anything, we enjoy something like that. Okay, I finished. Thank you.
Pradeep ji, please unmute.
Yes,
Arun
yes.
Partha has also unmuted himself. So let him
Okay.
ask.
First-
Arun
okay,
Parth,
okay.
Let him.
Better.
Arun Parth, are you able to speak or we should go to Pradeep ji? Pradeep sir, you can continue. Arun Parth is not able to speak,
Okay.
I think.
I'm referring to what Rama Rao, although he had no specific question in his views, but still I'll ask him to specify, because he was saying that some sort of conformity is a must in our daily life. So will he exemplify with exactly what he means by that, giving an example that this thing has to be conformed to live a healthy life? Rama Rao, please.
Ramara sir, you are unmuted. You can say something. His voice is also not coming. What is the problem? Is there a kind of discipline or some more learning has to be done in this respect?
Yeah, okay. Maybe I understood now what Rama Rao ji. I think what he is saying is that certain kind of discipline is required in our life and for some kind of order. Like as I said, when there are many people living together, then we have to go for lunch at the same time. Different people cannot go for lunch at different times. So some kind of rules are necessary. And also in our school, Krishnamurti school, smoking is not allowed, drinking is not allowed, eating meat is not allowed. So this kind of certain rules are made because for some reasons, for health purpose, we need to have bath every day, even may not like, but for health purpose. So that is probably what Rama Rao ji is saying, that some kind of conformity to the rules may be necessary for some order. Okay, probably, yeah, right.
Rama Rao ji is available now. Is he ready to talk?
We'll try to
बिना
unmute.
रामा राव को चमकाए आप ठीक नहीं होगे।
Sir,
आज तो रोज रहे हैं आप खुद को,
Yes, Ramara sir.
साफ तो हो गए हैं पर चमक नहीं पाए।
no, what happened? No, just what I could see that that day one onwards, because we have loaded with lot of information, lot of conditioning, lot of emotions, whatnot. Unless until we are existing with this manifestation, there is no other way to live with some way of discipline or something. Like if we live in, if we want to share something, if I want to talk with you, I have to talk within specific language, means like a specific format, specific voice, etc. It is also one type of conformity, na? It is also one type of discipline.
May I
You
say
got the
something?
point, sir? Yeah, please.
May
Sir, let Chidanandji speak over it, please. Then
Okay.
Pradeep.
Yeah, I anyhow wanted to say,
Yeah.
there are a number of occasions in life where we conform. That means we go by whatever is expected of us, more for harmony and more for avoiding sometimes even physical conflict. See, when we are driving in India, our cars have to go by the left side. And in United States, Canada, etc., we have to drive on the right side. So there are different rules. And if we go by the rules as per which country we are, that is not the context here. The conformity that is criticized in this teachings is where certain psychological issues come and where you go by what some authority says out of fear or out of some hidden motive to please that person. you know well, let's say in some place somebody all are wearing certain dress, and suppose I decide to wear it right away, I also will wear that dress. And if I closely examine what my motive is, I am trying to be in the good books of those people or those, especially the leaders in that group, by wearing the dress that they are wearing, by learning their language, by learning some gestures and customs of theirs. Suppose I have a motive to be in their good books, get some business favors or some such thing, then there is a problem. That conformity born of desire or fear, not out of some sympathy, some understanding of others' difficulties, but it's more of some, the self comes into the picture there, right? So it begins in school and college itself. We want to impress a teacher. We want to please a particular teacher. And in order to please the teacher, suppose we behave in certain ways in the classroom. That conformity, you are trying to fall in line with what the teacher perhaps in your eyes likes. So conforming means falling in line, falling into a certain pattern in order to get favors, let's say. Then there is a certain dishonesty there. Otherwise, you go to United States and you are driving and you say you have to drive by the right side of the road. And then if you say, I don't believe in conforming, I'm an independent person, if you try to go on the left side, you will meet with accident. So there is a saying, right? While in Rome, do as Romans do. That also should be taken in the spirit of going by some norms that they have there for avoiding conflict in a grosser sense. There's no psychology involved there. I noticed that in some countries, when you post an envelope, post office, where you write the sender's address, where you write the address of the person to whom the letter has to go, has been defined. Some countries, the sender's address is not to be written on the front of the envelope at all. It should be on the back side. If that is the norm in that country, we just go by it. There is no selfish motive there. We see that the post offices follow this system here. Whereas some other countries, you are the sender of the letter. Your address has to be top left corner. So like this, there are countless examples. And where there is, let me summarize my answer this way. Conformity where the self in us is afraid or desirous is going to distort our psyche. Other conformity, which is a certain mutual adjustment for smooth functioning of the society, is not at all in this context. That is not criticized. That's not into the picture.
Lakshmi ji, please unmute.
Namaste to everybody. As far as I know, Krishnamurti's aim is to make people or person unconditionally free. So whatever he talks, he is taking us to that side. So here discipline, he says discipline is learning in one place. So when we are with pressure, with compulsion, then that naturality will not be there. What is will not be there. So we are in an artificial way. So discipline means whatever is from outside, whether we are compelling or forcing, whatever it is, or suppressing. So exclusion is there. That means we are doing all these things in the name of discipline. So he is concentrating only about the freedom in the man. So what is that binding us? These all things are making us, they are, in the name of discipline, we are compelled. When there is real learning, there is order. So where it, as Harshad ji is saying, when we are interested, there is order. Automatically we get up, or automatically we do. We will not, there will not, no need of compulsion, no need of external force. That will be from innate thing. Innate order will be established automatically. So if this external discipline is disorder, there won't be any order in that. And there will be frustration, conflict, everything. So for this innate discipline, that is real meaning of discipline is learning. When we are aware, moment to moment awareness is there, then understanding is there, and automatically we'll do everything in an orderly way. So this external discipline is binding us. It is taking us away from the reality. Thank you.
Pradeep ji, please unmute.
Little bit of Harshad ji tried to explain some sort of order in the house, which referring to Rama Rao's question of that some sort of conformity is very important in day-to-day life. Even in that order, suppose take all of us will have lunch at a particular time, and this usually happens in most of the joint families. So this is an order, all right. But when he is talking to us about disciplining, he is talking as an individual to all of us individually to live happily in the, so openness, if openness is there in me, even while taking food at the same time, all of us taking, and all of us are open, then you will find that so many, it will create such a sensitivity to understand why this has been imposed, why at a proper time we have to take food, why we collect here to do that. So they will try to understand it. There is an order even in giving such a sort of discipline, if you like to, but it's not a discipline. It is related to life. It's a mindful eating. So these things, these are not imposed. Once you understand why collectively certain things are required in a family and what it does, then there won't be any imposition of any type anywhere. So this is what I feel. Thank you.
Lakshmi, do you want to say something more? Your hand is raised. One.
Mistake, the hand is raised.
Yeah.
I don't know, that is not coming down.
Just touch it again. The way you raised it, the same way it will go down. Just touch it again and it will go down.
Okay.
Touch and go.
Chidanandji, please say.
I was testing that, touching and touching again. It
Yes,
worked. You are right. Touch once, it goes up. Touch second time, it goes down. I was just testing that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But today you are not given any particular time to go.
No, I need to leave now because I have some other session at 7:30.
Yeah.
So thank you
So,
all. I will see you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you another Thursday. Is there anything left?
Ram,
Is there anything left or somebody wanted to say or add something?
Final word from Harshad sir.
Harshad Parekh sir? But, and then end
No,
it.
no, we have talked a lot about two kinds of discipline, which is a discipline which is imposed because there is a disorder, and there is another kind of discipline which comes from within, out of understanding. And so this is where what Krishnaji talks about, this discipline is about the discipline which is coming from real understanding and living with harmony, inner harmony, where we do whatever we needs to be done without any resentment or without complaining about it. Okay, I have finished.
Modak, you can end it now. It's my birthday off, please.
Sir, one share Jain sab.
तो दिल मेरा तवायफ के कोठे की तरह है, रौनकें तो बहुत है पर सुकून नहीं।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है। वो कर रहा है।
Thanks all.
Thank you.
पहला वाला भी इससे बेहतर था कि मांझता तो मैं रोज खुद को हूँ, साफ तो हो जाता हूँ पर चमक नहीं है। और आप चमकाते अच्छा हो।
अच्छा,
वर्मा जी का नाम ही प्रदीप है तो वो तो लाइट है अपने आप में, तो वो तो चमकाएंगे। तो उनके वो लाइट डालना हर जगह।
जी बिल्कुल।
प्रदीप करना हर चीज को लाइट डालना, मेक एवरीथिंग।
मॉडल जो नोट्स पे लिखा था वो बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे। I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Now please end it.
Okay.
Thank you.